I'm nervous. Yes, I will.
My name is Dee Henderson, but a lot of the kids call me Dee. Here I do. Of course, they abbreviate everything, so Dee was perfect. And some of them call me Big Mama, I guess, because I'm Big Mama of this school. I don't know. But I came from Guyana when I was 15 years old, and I've been living in New York with my uncle and aunt. But before we get to New York, living in Guyana, it was a struggle. My mom never raised me. My mom never raised me because it was rumored in our village that my uncle, her cousin, may be my father. So when I stayed in that village, everyone used to make fun of her, make fun of me, and mostly my entire family hated me for that reason, because they think it was my fault she had sex with her cousin that had me. So nobody wanted me. Like, I was the embarrassment of the family. And till this day, she was the one who allowed her boyfriend to sexually abuse me just so she could stay with him. My uncle in Guyana adopted me. He was my rich uncle, and he adopted me. But when he adopted me, I thought it was for something good, but instead I had to do housework and being abused by his kids, not sexually at that time, but more of a physical abuse. My uncle never sexually abused me, but his son did. When I was asleep, they would touch me. My uncle's wife didn't like me because he adopted me and none of her family members. So she didn't like me, so she never gave me the opportunity to go to school. When she was told that I'm 15, that I would have to go to school, they decided to take me back to Guyana and wait until I turned a certain age and brought me back. When I came back, all I had to do once again was housework and take care of their grandkids. A cycle I decided to break because it was the same thing they did to my mother. My mother was the youngest of 7 children, so my uncle, the same uncle I'm talking about, she used to live with him when she was younger, and she would have to do the same thing, clean and cook and take care of the kids and all that. And that's something I had to do at a young age. I was never given the opportunity to go to school or, to do anything better with my life when I thought I'm coming to America to have a better life. That never happened. First, I wanted to commit suicide. And the day I was going to walk in front of a car to commit suicide, I don't know, like I said, God is on my side, because somebody came behind me that I didn't see them behind me and grabbed me from my back, from my clothes, from my back, and pulled me out before I start walking into the traffic. I don't know the guy. I don't know who it is. I don't know who it is to this day. But I was safe then. When I got old enough, I ran away with this guy that I met at this job in New York, at this auto store I was working. I ran away from my family home, and I went and lived with him. He knew I was weak, so once he knew I had no one there to fall back on as family, he started abusing me too. So he take all my money when I worked, and I would have to abide by all his rules because I didn't know anything about life or living on your own. Right. So I took that abuse, and once I got to know a little bit about life, I decided to run, and I started running from state to state, city to city, thinking it would help my problems. But instead it got worse and worse and worse, because every man that I've been with knew I had no one else or nothing. I was married at one time in my life, but it didn't work out. It didn't work out because his mom told him she don't think that I was the right person for him because of my background, where I, at one time in my life, sold my body for money. At one time in my life, I was homeless. One time in my life, I was sleeping on train tracks. I was never strong enough when I was in the street. I always felt like I wanted to die, I wanted to commit suicide, but I didn't know how. I didn't have that strength or courage to kill myself anymore. Las Vegas was the hardest place that I've lived. That's when I caught myself prostituting a lot to make ends meet, to find some type of comfort. Behind the glitz and glamour, it was so painful and hurtful. I was being abused by a pimp. I met this guy, and here I am once again looking for love, looking for comfort. And instead, he decided to pimp me out, and I stopped prostituting. And that was the lowest part of my life because I never thought I would sell my body to survive. and he would beat me at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, whatever time, whatever was convenient for him. So that was the hardest part, living in Vegas. It was like I lost my soul at one point. I lost who I was. I was this nice person, innocent girl growing up. I didn't have sex until I was 19 years old by choice. But from 5 to 16, I was always molested. So when I got to Vegas, it was the hardest part of my life. You know, I ended up leaving Vegas. I didn't have any money because this pimp took all my money. But my nephew was diagnosed with cancer, Kevin, and my cousin said she would buy my ticket to come to New York if I were to move to New York. And I moved to New York. She bought my ticket, and that was my escape. I went to New York, and I stayed with them for a year, and he was diagnosed with cancer. And when a year after, they was like, oh, they can't find no trace of cancer in him no more. So I think he saved my life. The last time I got in contact with my mom was in March of this year, and I wanted some type of closure from her. I wanted to know why she allowed those things to happen to me, and it was on my mind so much that I need to call her. And after 15 years, I talked to her, but she didn't give me a reason to why she did those things. All she kept saying that she was sorry for the things she had done and if I can forgive her. And I had to forgive her for my own self. I had to forgive her in order for me to move on. And a month later, she passed away. If I couldn't trust my mom, I couldn't trust anyone else. Yeah, trust issues started at home with my family first. I've always had trust issue. This is the first time, 40 years old, I'm acting like I'm 20 or 18 around these kids. It's the first time I don't have trust issues, and it's only with the students at Duke. You can give me all the money that in this world, but mentally you couldn't help me because I wanted love. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be cared for. I wanted to be accepted. Despite of what I went through, or despite who my father may be, or despite how I was raised, I wanted to be loved. Love conquered all, I think. And I just wanted to be loved, and here I am being loved. You can give me a job that I can make $1 million a year. It wouldn't amount to what's been given to me by these students, the love. It wouldn't amount to that love. Find love. Find love and accept what you have to accept what you went through. You have to accept everything that you went through and you go through. And at the end, if you have love, you can conquer that fear. Like some kids, they wanted to give up school. No. You don't need that degree for you, that's perfectly fine, but get it for me. Get it for people like me in the projects where we live. Get it for those kids that don't have an opportunity. Every time I tell them, can you feel like giving up? No, always think about the opportunity that someone could have had. They must have walked past and saw me.